kind of a problem, isn't it? Hey, I'm here, man. We're here, rocking and rolling. There's something. With my smart wool socks on. Pretty soon here. Stephen Half. That's who we're going to talk about. That's weird. Wacky and weird. Welcome to Uncle D's Tectonic Tales and super tips and hacks and hilarious detours off the normal path. Here, I'll put these on in a minute. Hey, welcome to Tectonic, everybody. I'm doing a live right now by myself for the moment, and I hope you can hear okay. I'm going to check out my microphone here, see how we're doing. Ooh, got a good thing we're turning that up, huh? I don't know why it does that. Somebody help me out with that. It always turns my microphone down. Anyway, here we go. So, hey, big day yesterday. Mount Shasta. Hey, I forgot to mention the one guy at the beginning of the video. I forgot that latest thing was Jeff Half, the guy at Siskiyou Campground, and my daughter was heading up to Siskiyou Campground or Siskiyou County, and they like to go out and disperse camp and stuff, BLM land. So check it out, Jeff Half, Siskiyou Camp. It was on Bar Road, one of those dispersed campgrounds. And that was this month, and the guy just went nuts with a knife and just chased everybody around the campground. So I was wondering, like, all my videos lately have been kind of dark that way, but not too bad. I'm not going into the gory details. I'm just like, what the heck's going on here and there where I like to go. Now, here's the trip is a couple of years ago, it wasn't like so bad, although some of these cases that I talked about were a couple of years ago. So anyway, I'm just hanging out and was going to do some it's a short notice live, and hey, it's just you and me here, it looks like. So let me know if you have any questions. Hello, you one person. Thank you for coming over here, spending your sweet time with us. Me sitting here with my bicycle and stuff. Well, let me readjust everything here. This is not working out. Here we go. That's better. It's nighttime, so probably run out of time. I wasn't going to do this. Somebody asked me to do some ideas on tent safety, and I've got the 3 best ideas, I think, other than having a bazooka or a flamethrower that you could have for protection. So I have those coming up here in a little bit. But, if it's just going to be you and, short notice, maybe people, I'm going to put my socks on first because the mosquitoes I'm going to put my smart wool, my favorite socks. These are the best socks. I love them. I bicycle. Ironically enough, and I didn't buy them for this. They're called this bike. I got it. Hey, which one? I can't even. There you go. Anyway, bike. And that's, protect my feet. They're great socks for biking. I like shorter socks. I don't like socks that come up. No calf huggers, I'm not doing any calf huggers. Hey, there's the bicycle. Hey, say hi to the bike there. Hello. I think we'll sit off kilter. Anyway. So, Jeff Half. And I should have mentioned that in the video. Hey, you other 2 people that just popped in. Talking about, now I'm going to talk about tent safety and just, answer some questions if you have any for anything, any of the videos. But the latest one, I had some people ask me about tent safety, and I already did 2 videos, but sometimes they get so lost way in the back, you have to touch on them again. So I'm going to go over some tent safety and things like that, and just show. Donald Harrison, hey, welcome back. How are you? Where are you at? Are you on the East Coast, West Coast, or in between, or over in some other international area? Trying to get the lighting's getting kind of weird. So anyway, we're just Donald. I was just going into. You guys can ask anything you want, but I was starting to talk about tent safety. Oh, you're near Philly. I don't know if we talked about it before because I've had several people here. My dad lives in Doylestown, so I got to get back there and help him out on his house. He lives in the house he was born in, and it's a beautiful house, stone, typical, colonial style, old stone house, but it was a later build. It wasn't, one of those really nice old or one of those classics that George Washington slept in or one of those. Right on, man. I love it back there. It's a trip. I'm from California, but my dad's from back east, so he likes it back there. He likes the humidity and everything. I go back there and I suffer, and so it's not easy for me when I go back to Pennsylvania. Hey, so this was a short notice live because I did a video a couple days ago and haven't done one in a couple days. And people have asked me. I had some people from Korea. For some reason, my video went over to Korea a lot. Yeah, Doylestown. Isn't that a great place? There's a guy that'll pop on probably later, or maybe not. It's short notice. Bartiomeo, and he's real close to there. He likes to film. He drives around, films some cool things out there, and he does playlists for us bicyclists, or at least for me. And I know he did some for some other people. But maybe you've seen, Donald. Did you already see my tent safety stuff about the camera and the speaker and all that stuff? Because I've had some people, and it was 2 Korean people, both women, asked me about what I do to stay, and is it real dangerous over here? And I said, well, it's not. Depends. It's regional, right? I always talk about dangerous stuff and campgrounds, but I'm always elaborating on that stuff in the places I like to go to because it's just intriguing, and I don't want to get gory about anything. I want to, have the mystery there, tell the story, and maybe get some feedback, because a lot of these stories, like the one I told last. Oh no, I haven't even posted that video yet. Never mind. There's one in there that luckily I had a guy that's a retired sheriff give me some information on Death Valley, incident in Death Valley. But Mount Shasta, if you guys go up to Mount Shasta at all, I haven't seen that. Okay, I'm going to do something real quick to show you something. Mount Shasta is one of my favorite places. I've been doing a lot of like missing persons stuff there. And then something I thought, well, maybe it's not that bad, and this summer's mellow. And then my daughter was going to head up, and she's like me, she investigates everywhere she's going to go. And then she finds out, as I'm making that video, the first one about Shasta, she found out, and then I found out the article, and I was supposed to include it yesterday in that other video about Jeff Half, this guy at Siskiyou Lake Campground, and that's near Redding and Mount Shasta. And it's actually closer to Mount Shasta, but a lot of people from Redding. This guy was from Redding, and this isn't funny. Anyway, he rolls into a campground, just pulls out a knife, starts chasing people around, and they're in their tents and everything. Everybody's fleeing into their cars. Jeff Half, I think he was 44 years old, happened on Bar Road, one of those dispersed campsite areas. And I love BLM land and stuff like that. It's my favorite. And so anyway, it was like intriguing to me. And my daughter, like hopped right on that and goes, yeah, I want to go up there. And I go, don't go up there she wanted to go up there because of the other case. And then we found out that Twin Arrows campground that's in that video is closed now. And I looked it up. It doesn't say why. It just says closed for the summer. Maybe maintenance, or maybe too many people dying there. And, I'm not. Check it out. I'm not BSing you here. I better have a big old shot of coffee here. Colombian evening coffee, Uncle D's special. So a couple of tips since you guys are here and you've been here. I'm not going to drag people along like we do in those. I try not to do that in my videos. Hey, my tent, man. Now I'm alone. I don't have a girlfriend at this moment, and I don't have any dogs or anything in my tent, So the deal is I want to sleep better, Hey, now there's 2 of you here, and you're worth it. So, because I'll probably have to tell the story again, and I won't go through it as much detail. I'll say, hey, everybody, we were talking about so if you're sleeping in your tent, Bartiomeo, man, welcome. We were just talking about you and your music and your drives around in Pennsylvania, Philly. We got another gentleman here, Donald Harrison from right around there. And I was telling him about my dad living there in Doylestown. My dad lives by Mercer Castle. Mercer Castle. Isn't that badass? Man, I'm going to do a video there. That is the coolest place. Hey, Bartio, you got to suffer through a little some stuff you've heard before, because I have some people from Korea that somehow got on my deal, and a lot of campers asked me about tent safety. And after I did that video, and I said, well, I already did one, check it out, but I'll talk about it tonight since I did the video. I'll just add these things in there. So, oh, Don, that's right, you guys hooked up. You guys have already talked to each other. That's really cool how people do that here. So, Donald, anyway, this one, I don't know. I ride my bike a lot, and I'm in the tent, and so I hear stuff outside, and I'm always like, what the heck? I don't want to turn my light on in there. And so I've been doing this, and this is a bigger camera than you need. But if you get the little ones, they don't have that screw-on thing there. And I like to put that. I like to put the camera. Okay, if you just showed up, we're talking about outside the tent safety, up in a tree somewhere with my GoPro tripod, right? This thing. And, you can get, there's many brands, but this thing I've bought 4 of those. Sorry, I got a hole like this. And they are badass. This thing will hold, there's one behind me up there on that building up above my head there. See it holding my tarp up? I use them for lots of stuff, clamping stuff, whatever. Okay, back to the camera. So I stick the, little camera on the tripod, right? And then I, clamp it up in a branch in a tree that's looking down at the tent. Now, this thing has a light on it, so I kill the light switch. Now, you get the camera on Amazon. Hey, whoever showed up talking about tent safety, and the camera outside the tent, up in the tree, or anywhere. I put this thing sometimes on my bicycle, kind of hidden in the, and all the crud that I have on the bike. See the bike behind me? Let's do this. Let's go like that. And let me know if you guys can still hear me. Yeah, let's go like that. So, anyway. So, screw that on there. Get one of these. Get a big enough one with the screw-on deal on there, right? To put on here. You get the Wi-Fi thing. Whatever camera you get, this is just like a cheap Chinese one, right? But it works great. And you get the app, and it costs like $4 a month. When I'm going camp, I don't use it all the time, but if I'm going on a trip, I'll just activate my, subscription for that little camera. I always have two of these clamps for, that I use for the GoPro camera. Get the app on my phone. If I hear something outside, I just turn my phone on, because this thing is sensory activated. It also has sound, and you kill your sound. It doesn't hear you unless you want it to, but you can hear you can hear it. You can see it. This thing's got a wide angle. And check it out. I've put it on trees. I've set it down in places in the bushes where I had a good view, but I like it. I like it stable, and that's why I like that. I like the tripod. And again, whoever just showed up talking about tent safety and the camera outside the tent, I use it on. Sometimes I've used it on the bike. It's a great camera, believe it or not. I've used it on the bike, like when I'm in the grocery store. Check out my bike. Like I'm fully loaded, and so all my stuff is strapped on here, and I'll mount the camera inside there and face it kind of outward. I'll have the bike locked, but at this point, I've got it. I can just check it. I'm over there getting some bananas. Hey, I wonder. I've been in here. The line's getting long. Line's getting long, and in the grocery store, and you're like, God, I got all my whole life on the bike outside. I mean, that's how I feel, and it's really the truth. So, that's what I do. And we're going to go back to that when more people show up. You guys, I'm sorry. Well, it's alive. Ask some questions if you want. And yeah, you remember that, Bartiomeo? So, okay, so I have that, right? I got the camera. Next thing. I love this thing. And this work. Now, I've never used this on a person. I've never had a person outside my tent with this, any of this stuff, right? Thank God. But that's what I use for there. Now, the next one is same thing, Bluetooth. Now, this is all Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Bluetooth speaker. This is small, and it's got bass. It's got big bass on it. So you got the camera, right? So you can see out there. But really, a lot of times, I'll use the speaker first. I'll just hook it. I'll be in my tent, and I hear something out there. Now, I use this on raccoons. It scares the living, you-know-what, out of the raccoons. So, hey, you turn on your Bluetooth. You've got the speaker, you activate it. So, when you buy the speakers, it'll show you when you go into your Bluetooth. You guys probably know how to do all that. If you don't, look it up. When you buy something, just read the directions or go online, get the app. And what I do is I get a real deep growling dog. Deep. It's got to be deep and low. If you get a dog barking, it's like obvious. It doesn't sound right. But if you get a low growl and then it rises up a little bit, it'll scare the living out of deer. I've had a deer. Now, when I scared the deer, it took off. It was right next to my tent, and it ran into my tent. When I scared, it didn't run over but it went by my tent, and the leg went boom and hit the side of my tent, and that scared the crap out of me. But anyway, at least I had that scared it right off. Now, sometimes the main thing I always tell people if they're, if it's their first time camping solo is don't turn your light on in your tent at night, like especially if you hear something. But if you do turn your light on because you're just a silhouette in there, you're lit up and people can see you moving around near your head, doing whatever you're doing. And so definitely, so what I do for that is like, if I got to grab something, I throw my coat or I carry another quilt with my sleeping bag, or I just take my sleeping bag over me like this, turn my headlamp on, I just throw my headlamp on like this and then get into whatever bag I need to get into. But, that's if I don't want to be seen, right? But I don't have to do that too much. But if you hear somebody, definitely don't turn your light on and have whatever you need. And here's the next thing. Okay, you got the speaker. You've got the camera mounted. This you seem paranoid with all that stuff. Well, you know what? It's regional. I don't mount the camera everywhere I go. Hey, there's Tectonic up there mounting his camera. I don't do it everywhere I go. But man, if I'm in a place where I don't feel right about something, that camera is going up. And I do it early, and I do it where no one sees me, and I do it very, very low profile. Speaker, Petzls. I always use Petzls forever. But, there's all the classics, the oldies. But, I have a Petzl. In Alaska, I used a guy gave me an old fire headlamp, the classic old one. It was big. He was a dog musher. I had that for years, and it was a lamp. It was basically a lantern on your head, but they're the best. They're better than a head. Well, it's regional. If you're Alaskan, and batteries, you got fuel with you. That's the way to go. I'm an Alaskan, really, at heart. I've spent 40 years there, so yeah. So Petzl, if I've got a couple of cheap ones too. I've got a backup. One that I carry around in Central Command here in my bag. But yeah, so, you got back to this real quick. But, speaker, Bluetooth, low growling noise for the animals outside. And it would probably scare a person too if they, but that speaker for me has scared raccoons, stuff. I'm in my tent. Don't turn the light on. Have it all ready to go. Have it on YouTube. Okay, this is real important, you guys. If it's getting too dark, I don't know if you can even see me very well, but I'm just trying. Let me know if I'm just too dark out here. I'll try to do something about it. But, we've got that speaker. You can't use any of this stuff, right? Unless you have Wi-Fi or a connection, because this is run by Wi-Fi, and so is the speaker. Well, the speaker's your Bluetooth, but this is Wi-Fi. Thanks, Donald. So you've got those. But I'm in my tent. I'm gonna show you what I have laying next to me, and what I have up here in the bicycle right here in my cup holders is the small pepper spray, and then the big loud horn. And I have that ready, and I have that next to me in the tent too. So I have that. I got my headlamp, right? I got all that right next to me. And then I also have what I can't show you in this bag. And it's right next to me, right? Locked. Got that. Locked. Be trained. Know your laws regionally and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's my basics there. Now that thing there is like last priority. And I'm obviously not going to use that like through the tent and just go, randomly use it through the tent. So that's really not for that situation so much. It's for but these are the things that I carry. And those are the main things I carry, really. There's always those special little things. Now, it's only two of you here, so I don't have to really tell all that again, do I? Most important thing is I have a big old swig of coffee, I think. And man, I'm glad you guys are here. I didn't do it live for a little bit there because I've just been busy. I've been busy trying to take care of personal stuff, and then letting some of my videos kind of. One of them's doing really well. I was just kind of letting it go. I made another video, and then trying to finish up a video I'm making about bike stuff. So, doing a little bit of both. And yeah, Bardio. So I told a story. I don't know if you probably are not into, try not to be gory, but these mystery stories are great for me because I love Mount Shasta. It's my favorite place, one of them. And the guy that I left out of that story, that video the other day was Jeff Half, who just Siskiyou Lake, Barrio, or any of you guys, is up by Mount Shasta. And it's a cool place. And that's the place where you can disperse camp. You can go take your RV out there in the dirt road, and all that kind of stuff and do that. But and me on a bicycle, I love that stuff. So I'm going to sit down here. So anyway, Jeff Half rolls into a campground the other day. It's in the news. That's kind of dark. And this guy pulls a knife out and chases everybody around the campground. And they all were okay, and they got the guy. But I think, okay, I'll stay here then. The light's kind of killing us here. So the computer kind of does it. Otherwise, I'd be, hey, let's see what I can do to that, though. Hold on a second here. It's got all sorts of, I got a new MacBook. I'm moving up in the world these days, sort of. As I move down, I move upward all at the same time. Let's see. Well, we don't want portrait. Center stage? No, we don't want that. And I think we're, let's see here. Oh, what's that? Background. Okay. Hold on, guys. Hey, here we go. I didn't know I could do it. Hey, this is me in an airplane flying out. These are my photos. This is my friend who's the pilot. And when I was a guide up in Alaska, can you guys see this okay? This mountain? Yeah, I didn't know I could do that. I know I could do this, when I'm just messing around making a video, but I didn't know I could do it live. So that's kind of cool. So those mountains behind me are the Alaska range. That's not Denali, but it's right over that way. No, yeah, that way. And hey, how do I? I can't point. Anyway, so all those glaciers down there is where I work. That's my old office. And right on, Donald, you can see it. And we'll go through a couple that I have on here since we're all here together. This is really cool. Now I can actually talk to you a little more. But yeah, Mount Shasta, when we're, hey, hold on a minute. Let's get back to Mount Shasta for a second. Is, you're driving up to Mount Shasta. That's kind of what it looks like on a gnarly, kind of a cold day out there. And anyway, Jeff Half, can you imagine being at a campground? And I know I'm kind of like blurry in some places there, but Jeff Half, sorry, everybody, it looks a little weird. chasing you around with a knife, and at a campground where you're just trying to hang out. Look at that. Somebody left who said, well, that's just too weird. I can't handle it. Hey, here's I'll go out of the picture a little. There's there's me and my friend Pat lying on the summit of a mountain in the Alaska range right there. That's me in the back, the short guy. That's Pat in the front right there. And interesting. All right, well, I don't know how long we'll do this weird background stuff, but I can at least show you. Yeah, that was my life, you guys. That's kind of, I wonder if I can get that any better by getting over here and kind of getting out of the way. And it's wacky, isn't it? All right. Well, you know, the bike is cool to have in the background, but these are cool too. And I'll share some of these. I'll show you where this is the glacier that I worked on. Now that guy there is the same guy on the top of that peak, and that's is my best friend. I haven't seen him in a while. My climbing partner, lifelong climbing partner for 40 years. Himalayas, Alaska. I know he's not watching now, but I'm sure some of our other friends are. So anyhow, so that's that. But it looks a little weird with me in the middle there. People are leaving now. Bardio, did you leave? It looks like Bardio. It's only one person now. All right. Yeah, we'll do one more here. There's the Eastern Sierra. That's out by where David Benfer made a lot of videos. And I have some video where I kind of went in his footsteps and looked at some places. That was pretty cool. And let's see, one more. No, maybe a couple more. This is me and my kids and my wife, my former wife, who's still my buddy. And she may be watching. I kind of doubt it. There's only 4 people. I used to take people out on that glacier all day long. After I did expedition stuff like in Alaska Range, I went down to these glaciers by the coast in Alaska, and I worked with the cruise ships, and these helicopter companies. And it was my company, and I partnership with those helicopters, and we took people out for 4-hour trips 3 times a day, and that was my life. My kids right there. I'd be out on the glacier all day, and then I would go. Yeah, okay, cool. I didn't see that part. I'd be out on the glacier all day, and then it was cool. I could be out there and then go home. Helicopter come pick me up and go back to town. It's about 15-minute flight back down to Seward, Alaska. It's cruise ship town, and then I pick my kids up from daycare, and go have pizza, and then go home. That for me was a beautiful life. It was more corporate than I was used to guiding, like, the big expeditions, like, this and that and things like that. So, and it was different, flying in a helicopter, it was dependable. You were down by the coast. The weather was, fairly predictable, but up here, check that out. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. That's me. And a woman who is no longer with us. That airplane, if you look that number up, she crashed that airplane right there behind where I was just that summer. And I made a video about her and me. That's me and her. I'm as you can see, she's very concerned looking down glacier. Let me tell you guys, this is seat of your pants flying in here. We're on a glacier. It's foggy, cloudy. I've been stuck in there for 3 weeks, not been able to get out before. And rationing food with my friend there you saw in the photos. But that's a woman who crashed that plane. Good lady, excellent pilot. There's a video in there about that, and check it out sometime if you get it. We barely got out of there that day. So anyway, I've got a lot of stories about that kind of stuff. Well, are we missing any? One more, and that's me and that's me putting up the banner for my company, Glacier Expeditions, right there at the airport when we did the helicopter gig. And that young guy there on my right, I hired him to help me that summer, and he's still my really good friend. And his name is Darin. So a lot of good times up there in the big mountains. I think my favorite one in here so far is us up here in the airplane, Hey, you know where you're going, man? Jeez. I love doing that. That's what I do in the video. I look, hey, do you know what you're doing? Anyway, so a lot of fun. I think we'll go back here so I won't lose. I think people don't like this very much, so we'll just go back to the old. We'll go back to the regular stuff here. No background, and ooh, it's getting dark though. Shoot, I might have to bail out here pretty soon. Let's see what I can get here. Studio light. That's not too bad. But, you know, we're losing background, so am I good? So it might be better to just go back to the pictures and yak for a little bit. I don't know. Is that bothering anybody out there? Let's see. I think the airplane's the best one, though. Let's see here. That's okay. Hold on a minute here. Let's get that background going. All right. I think the plane is the one, though, huh? All right. We'll just do, because from the plane, we've got great perspective, you know. We can see what's going on out there. Very cool. And it kind of ties in with our Mount Shasta subject, camping, Mount Shasta outdoors, because really, you know, because if people pop on here and they want to talk about Mount Shasta, they will see a big snowy mountain out there, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you got any questions, those are my safety tips, and I probably won't be able to show any more of the safety tips tonight because it's getting dark. But yeah, we can at least show the glacier out there. We can show where I used to work. We were flying around and all that kind of stuff. So the peak you see way, now check this out. The mountain you see way in the back, right over my head, that way, that's the Moose's Tooth. That's a famous mountain in Alaska. A lot of history, a lot of epic climbs on the Moose's Tooth. Jim Bridwell did that face you see there is just epic. I wish I could zoom in on it, man. That is but yeah, I mean, these mountains, like compared to Mount Shasta, like let's say, well, that mountain right there, Moose's Tooth, is only 11,000 feet at its highest point. It's 10 something. And Shasta is higher than that. But in Alaska, as you can see, the glaciers down there, they're only like 8, 10,000, 9,000. It's different at that latitude. We get colder. So this is an Arctic region behind me. And in the summertime, it's like that all summer. But 15 minutes behind, like we turn this plane around right now, you know, hey, whip it around, will you, Eric? We just whip it around and we go back. It's summertime. It's all green and beautiful. Wish I could show you a picture of that. But yeah, it's really neat. So while we got you here, hey, if there's any questions, let me know. I turned it on these weird back screens of my Alaska stuff because we were losing, you know, it's dark out here. So I was going to look for something here. We're going to do something, and we're going to get rid of this. Let's see here. Bear with me, everybody. I think we'll put something on here. Nope, nothing there. You can add these screens. Oh, look at here. Look at here. Let me see what we got. I've got a whole bunch of photos, but, you know, I'm really not. I'm supposed to be talking about Mount Shasta right now. So let's go into, hey, here we go. Balancing your load, man. No, that's not going to show up. Bad idea on that one. So we will try. People are leaving because I'm just in the middle of this. But hey, you know, as long as you guys are enjoying yourself, I'm enjoying myself at the moment. And that might not work either, but what the heck. Okay, yeah, we won't use these. These are just me up on the mountains. This is that's me up way up on some mountain in Alaska, but that one doesn't look good. So we're gonna go back to the airplane, get back in here. All right, how you doing, Eric? All right, we're still in the same spot though. That's what weirds me out. This plane just never moves. It just like those weird stories I have. Anyway, I guess I'll stay like this for a little bit. I think a lot of people that are popping on here are new. They're not subscribers or anything like that. So, there's probably like, oh, what in the heck is that thing going on? Anyhow, yeah, man. I'll probably have to go pretty soon. Mosquitoes, as you can see, you can't see. They're kind of getting me, but thought I'd pop in here for a little bit and see how everybody's doing. Hey, hold on a second. Let me look at something. I was gonna look at something here. Here we go. Hey, I'm going to tell you about that incident. I can read about it. Let's see. Yeah. That guy, Jeff Half at Siskiyou Campground. I just got a little update. It's a popular, formal camping, dispersed backcountry access. He was just roaming nearby and creating real danger to solo campers. And then he pulled out some knives, chased some people around. I mean, there's really no other information than that. So he's just probably really unstable. Let's see. Public safety alert was issued after multiple reports of individuals being assaulted with a knife near Mount Shasta City Park. Oh, well, that explains that. Suspect behavior. Okay. Oh, suspect behavior expanded to the area near Lake Siskiyou Campground. So he was there. They had an issue. He moved out to the lake. Okay. Law enforcement received reports that Half was walking in the vicinity of Bar Road near the entrance to Siskiyou Campground. So I don't know if you guys have ever been there. Officers from the Mount Shasta Police Department, Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office, and California Department of Fish and Wildlife responded and located Half. And he wasn't Half. And he was taken into custody without incident. And then that was about it. I bet he was Half. Poor guy, though. Poor people. Half was booked 2 felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, you can't screw around like that. That's wacky and wild. Anyway, I thought I'd read that. It was just a little update somebody sent me there, and we'll move on here. Hey, that's all right. Hey, man, it was a short notice, and I'll have to go pretty soon anyway, because the mosquitoes, and plus I got to get some stuff done here, and it's Sunday night, and got a big week ahead coming up. Not really, but I'm kind of hunkering down here. I have somebody gave me some work to do. It's going to be kind of fun, and I'll show you. I'll make a video about it, but I may put it on Build to Bike instead of here because it's something unique, and it may not fit into the mold here. Thanks, Bartiomeo. Love having you every time, man. You're here every time. I miss Apache. We had Apache. He used to come a lot. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he got tired of my stories. But there's a couple of people I missed. There was a guy who was a Rush fan. I really enjoyed talking to him. I haven't heard from the Rush fan in a while. Yeah, Build a Bike is being neglected, Bardio. I've just been busy, and I've been busy with this channel. It's kind of where things are going, and it slowed down because it does that. I'm learning about YouTube and how it works. And the one video I just put out the other day did really well, and then apparently now at the moment it's in what they call a lull, and it's just about ready to go into another stage. So when that happens, I'll post the other one because the other one's sort of a sequel, and I want everybody to see it in order. And in between, I'm going to post another bicycle tips and safety. So thanks, man. Hey, do you guys ever watch Base Camp Chris? Now, you guys might not be interested in that kind of stuff, but he tells stories, mountain camping kind of stuff, really cool. And he always has a Thanks, man. Base Camp Chris just tells camping stories. A lot of them scary, Mount Shasta and all that kind of stuff. But he's such a great storyteller, and he always has a beer, like a certain beer. Now I don't drink, but I could still introduce a beer or something, or a kind of a coffee, or my favorite beverage. But he's really good, and he gets these beers that have a theme to them, like fishing or camping and stuff like that. Yeah, check out Base Camp Chris. And then another one of my favorites, who you probably, I don't know, this is cutting it. I like Kurt Katz. He's a Medellin, Colombia. He's a more of a travel, he travels in some pretty dangerous places. And he used to go to the party places, which I'm not into, but he's toned that down, and really he has a girlfriend he takes with him. And he does some great history along with his stuff. He'll open up in the history of like Cartagena, and places in Colombia. He'll do the right thing at the right time, man. He's a great, great creator. Kurt Katz, check him out. Also, Base Camp Chris. Really cool. And I'm not just saying that, I don't really like a lot. I don't listen to a lot of people on there other than some of my bicycle stuff, but the storytelling stuff caught me in the algorithm, and I really enjoy it. It's really fun. So, but yeah, Kurt Katz, my favorite for Medellin, and I've seen him down in Colombia, so that's kind of how I knew about him. As I ran into him, everybody knew who he was. That's how famous he is, and I said, "Well, I don't know who that guy is." And so, Kurt Katz, yeah, hey, Trent the Traveler, he's like a van guy, van camper dude with a Sprinter and his dog, and yeah, and there's just so many that I'm starting to see. I'm not too much into like bicycle mechanic guys. I like them. I think they're real. I'm not a bicycle mechanic. I can fix things. I can do anything I need to do on the bike on the road. And when it gets beyond a certain point, it's going to a bike shop with a good mechanic who maybe has a YouTube channel. That's how I work. And I can be broken down pretty much in the middle of nowhere. And if the bike just won't go and it's broken in half, then I'm in trouble. But if there's a way to fix the bike, I usually have what I need to fix it. Or I'll wave in South America or other countries. I'll just wave some guy down to weld something for me or whatever. And they do it. In America, it's harder to do that. Somebody wants money or a favor more or something. And it's harder to get a ride, and, people are sketchy. Down in, you just hand somebody $20 or pesos, man, and you're golden. But you've got to be aware and watch your back. Yeah, I dabble lightly in the bikes. Oh, I've torn them all apart, many. But for me to make bicycle mechanic, stuff that just, now I'll make good ones when I'm just busted out in the middle of nowhere and going, hey, this is how I rigged this for, that's going to be me. You'll see me rigging things, and that'll be that kind of a program. But I won't be normally like, hey, we're going to build a wheel, wheel building. It's probably not going to be the thing for, me. Can't be doing that. Hey, we're going to switch it over here to, this is on the Eastern Sierra. I needed a little change up from that snow and ice. And my next video is about some campers in the desert. True story about the German family. They're from Germany. And this German family, 1996, disappeared out. They checked into Furnace Creek and went for a drive. Furnace Creek's the hotel, man. Kids, everybody's all checked in. And they just said, hey, let's go for a drive out one of these dirt roads to Anvil Canyon. And they went out to Anvil Canyon, man. Hey, Bardio, love you, man. You take care, buddy. Thanks for coming over. Bardio's taking off. Love his good music and his tunes and playlists for us campers and cyclists, car campers alike. Yeah, so the German family, yeah. Now they were at Anvil Canyon. Now that same summer, that guy, I don't know if you guys ever heard about that guy in Badwater Basin that was walking out in the salt flats, and they fought. So this guy that emailed me, one of my subscribers, said, hey, I was a search and rescue guy on that. and it was a guy who walked out. It's in my next video, and it's in the description of the guy's name. Walked out on the salt flats, right? And they thought he had been missing, overdue, and his footprints went out, and then just stopped. They just stopped dead there in the tracks. Pretty wild. Like a helicopter come and picked him up, or a spaceship, some weird and wacky thing like that. Hey, let me have a swig of coffee, and I'll stick around for a minute if there's anybody there. Let me know if you're still there and liking that, or hit the like button if you're listening and you don't want to talk to me, and you're just enjoying the rambling. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up and do something else. As you know, though, by now, I like talking. It's probably pretty obvious. Hit that like button, one of you 3 people. Let me know you're a live person. That's the main thing. That's always good to know. Okay, thank you. Because sometimes I think, well, maybe that's just like a, fake thing that YouTube does or something. But no, that's really neat. Thank you so much. And you can always say hello, but you don't have to. I just like it when people watch. And if you hit the like button, that means you're enjoying, oh, that was you. So the third person, all right, where are you and who are you? No, I'm just kidding. What's behind door number 3? Hey, I don't know. Let's check it out. What's behind door number, I don't know, what's behind picture number 4? Anyhow, man, great evening. Out here in California, it's not a hot night. It's a little decent. Just the mosquitoes are bad. Right on, man. Let's see what we can find here. So, let's see. I'm looking for something interesting here. Now, next time I'll have some pictures loaded up, because I didn't know that I could do this. I hit this first one here when we were flying up to the glacier, and I was like, wow, there's Eric flying the plane. How come we're only in one place? I know. That's old. Anyhow, that's not Mount Shasta. If you just popped on here, we were talking about safety stuff and safety tent camping stuff. But now we're up here in this airplane talking about mountains and mysteries. And hey, check this out, Donald, if you're still there, and anyone who's listening, is that Black Pyramid. Have you heard about that Black Pyramid thing that they're talking about? That's just behind us. That way. I'm trying to point the right by Talida and McGrath. Look it up. Alaska's Black Pyramid, Denali. Denali, Black Pyramid, Alaska. And then check out north of Denali, McGrath, the town. I went there in a plane like this, and I went with some Koreans, by the way, that were investigating. But all I did, I wasn't interested. I was just I was technical support, and I didn't even really know what the Black Pyramid was. And I thought I'd wait till they did the movie, and I went with them on that. And this flight here is not from that. This flight is from when we were going over to land on that glacier behind me, which is right here. And we got out here. Now, this is a different flight with that woman I was telling you about. But there's skis on the airplane. We land on the glacier, and then, it lands on pavement, kind of like that. But, up here, it's all glaciated. And this is summertime. So, like right now, this is this time of year, July. It's always glaciated up there. Very snowy, always building ice. Now, these glaciers are actually, some of them are growing. So if you talk about global warming, well, great place to argue global warming are places where the planet's cooling, like it always has over millions and billions of years. And we're tilting. My father was a geoscientist, and I've been hearing about this since before people talked about climate change, and no one ever talks about the tilting of the planet. Well, that's why we have earthquake and volcanic activity right now, right? It's not human caused. Human cause is definitely there, but that'll go away when the planet takes a dump. And, we're flushed out so everybody's worried about, and then they make electric cars, which are useless in Alaska and, in Northern Hemisphere. So, and they take the grid. So anyway, we're a little delusional when it comes to global warming, I'm afraid. I've been working on these glaciers for years. I take scientists up to these glaciers as technical support. They tell me what's really going on, and it isn't what Bill Gates tells you and what John Kerry tells you and what all those people that don't know what they're talking about. Those are political scientists, and I'm probably going to get 86 for this on YouTube. Sorry. But the truth is the truth, and science doesn't lie. Political science that's involved with politics lies all the time. Always has, always will until it's done. It's almost done, though, I think. So that's why we can't talk about glaciers with me, because I've been around the best of the scientists in the world, and they'll tell you a different story than what you hear through mainstream on NBC and David Muir and all your guys that feed you that stuff. Thanks, Donald. It's becoming clear to people, and now to me, working on the glaciers back in the day and all the way through time, I used to talk about global warming, but I wasn't talking about it in a human sense, only that we were a catalyst to some things. But, again, we're such a small thing in the grand scheme of Earth, man. Look what's buried here. This place has things buried miles deep. We're not doing anything. We're done. We'll be gone. There'll be some new thing going on. AI will be gone. AI is and another thing is another sort of something that's there. And my friend who's a Tibetan Lama always says, play with it like you do. And you always have any technology. Play with it for the good. There's always going to be something bad in everything. And so he said, just use that lesson as the yin and the yang, and don't think that, that's going to be bad all the time. It will be bad. It's like the atomic bomb, Now, I never saw any good about that. But anyway, when we look at that, it's all fear-based stuff. And when everything's fear-based, that's enough preaching for me now. When it's fear-based, then it's not something worth worrying about. That's the best thing in the world, is to know when there's fear being instilled through the media or something, and it's coming from the outside unnecessary fear, then it's unnecessary. I threw it away, and I still live with the daily necessary fears, right? That's what I have to, like you and me, we gotta, hey, I gotta worry about how to feed myself today, or get that bill paid, or now it's keep my phone on. Hey, I got to keep that phone on so I can deposit money in my bank over here in this country. And, for me, traveling in other countries can be really challenging if I'm gone for a long time. I'm making a video about that eventually. I know that a lot of my subscribers are interested in stories, so I try to do the stories, but also I've got a lot of good tips for traveling. That's what I do. I'm Tectonic Traveler, right? So, I'm out there hustling and bustling and trying to also, as I'm going along, trying to make a living doing it, and I'm not going back over to the office on Monday, tomorrow, which I've done, and try to do that. Now that's a comfortable life for sure, and can be really comfortable. I love comforts. I'm a lover of things and stuff, and people go, oh man, you live on a bike. And I go, well, I live on a bike, but I'll stay in an Airbnb like now or other times, or I'll stay with family that are good friends, and, it'll be like vacation time, but usually I'm traveling and going. Other countries are easier for me than being here in America. So pretty close to buying, or at least deciding where. I don't have the money yet, but I want to buy the land. I know where in the Eastern Sierra, and also in Colombia. That's where I'll be living in the off season. I'll tell you what, when you guys, when it starts to get cooler in the United States, cooling off, there's nowhere good enough for me. It's not even New Mexico. Now, Florida's too humid. I'm not going there, and I'm probably not going to go to Mexico or New Mexico. It's going to be South America, a place I'm familiar with, a place I feel healthy, good food, good vegetables, all the things I need. And I'm lucky that way. you know, I can go there. I have a passport. I have all my bags packed. I can just, if I have the ticket and I have the money and I have the income coming in while I'm traveling, then I can go. And that's how I do it. I sell a few books. My books are okay. It's only one, and I'm not a I'm not a writer. I wrote something that helped me, and then I helped a few other people out. Just kind of, it's just a book, just a little handbook that's thin. You can fit it in your bag of your bicycle. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have a store on my channel yet. I will, but I'm not real motivated to have a store on there yet. We're building, Tectonic. I've always been here, but the coffee cups and the coats and the, all that kind of stuff. It hasn't been here, but it's coming. I don't know. I think people like some stuff, but like I don't buy coffee cups. Like my favorite person, I don't buy their coffee cup. I buy their shirt though. I might buy a tee. I like t-shirts, but I like good cotton t-shirts. And for me, if I'm going to have t-shirts for sale, they're going to be really good quality, and that's what I want. And they're going to have something to do with like camping, outdoor. Not a funny design on it with a big old patch. It's all hard. One of the, nice and soft like this. This is all natural fiber. And I would rather do natural fiber, which you can't really do really good prints on. You can do different things. So that's what we'll be doing with Tectonic. Everything Tectonic is going to be organic, and just like just like my channel here, organic. Every sub here, every person, except for my kids, my ex-wife, and maybe a friend or so that I don't know about. Everybody was organic. Y'all came in because you were attracted to something I did, and I appreciate that. And to me, I don't think my videos are good at all. And that's the way, but I try. I really do. But I also try to stay me, Darin, and that's the main thing. Now, when I'm up here in an airplane and I'm like, hey, Eric, you sure you know where you're going? That's a little different. And I don't know why we haven't moved. We're going to turn it around here pretty soon. I got 4 people watching. Hey, everybody, we were talking about Mount Shasta in my video, that video I just did the other day. And I just briefly went into some safety tips, and they were about the camera and the tent. I got 5 people here. It's kind of dark. So if I turn off this screen, you can't see really well. Let's see what happens. But I wanted to show you the camera in your tent thing. If you haven't seen this yet, this little camera here, we're going to turn off this little deal we got going here. And go up here and turn that off, and we're good. And we're good. So, studio light. There we go. Oh, it's getting dark, isn't it? So, there's a little camera you can get. You can get that, and I get to try the one with the little. You can't see, so you can screw that on your tripod. Get the app, put it outside your tent, put it in a tree. If it's dark like it is right now, I'm getting ready to go to bed, man. I'm going in a house though. Stick this up in a tree. Get the app on your phone while you're in your tent. If you hear something outside your tent, turn that on, and then you see what's going on outside. Don't turn the light on in your tent. Okay, looks like it's just me and you, Donald, unless you're gone too. I'm gonna do this now. Background. So yeah, you love shirts? All right, yeah, me too. T-shirts. That's about all I like though. I don't buy hat. I like to wear hats, but usually it's a T-shirt. Hey, Donald, is that screen still looking good, or is it getting weirder now that it's getting dark? Should go to let's go to this one here. There's the helicopter. That's kind of fancy looking. People like helicopters for some reason. That's me when I had short hair. And now that glacier, you see that glacier I'm standing on? Okay, explain something to you here. This glacier here, right there, that's snow on top of, that's about, probably 50 feet of snowpack on top of a icy part that you see me standing in the helicopter on that part of the glacier. This snow here never melts. That glacier underneath is always generating ice. That's what makes ice, is that snow on top compacting with the rain and then the freezing over time makes that hard ice that we're standing on here. That's hard, really hard, old ice that flowed down, and it flowed down from up behind, high in those mountains. See how it's way up? It accumulates up high in those mountains, and then the weight of that ice starts to flow down like a river, and you can see those cracks and crevasses in there, and those happen because it's rolling over the rock and terrain underneath. That ice is following all the interruptions underneath. And so that's why glaciers look like they do. They're rivers of ice, you know? And so down here where my wife and kids, and we're standing on that lower part of the glacier where it's almost hitting the ocean, down near Seward, Alaska. And there's crevasses around, but you can see them. There's a few behind me over there. Those are holes, but we're not going over toward those. You know, we landed on an ice hard pack. Ice. There's no danger unless you were to wander off. My kids are right there with me. I don't let them wander off. Don't bring kids up here to walk around. I didn't. Just my kids to, photo opportunity or just to hang around the ice right here. So that's kind of where we hung out and did our thing right there. It was kind of cool. And so that's the summer program was there. Had, down here at the airport, my good friend helping me at the office and then on the glacier. And then my wife loaded the helicopter and they'd send up the groups up. I'd walk them around for 4 hours. And sometimes they would leave me out there. And I'd stay out there for, 4 or 5 hours, wait for the next group to come. And I'd have all that time alone just to wander around and be by myself. And it was pretty neat. That is a memory that I can't forget. So lots of time alone up there and then time with people talking and doing tours. And that's where I learned all this stuff about glaciers. So right on, Donald. And Bartio's gone now. It looks like he had to go. It's later where he is. And anyone else there who's listening, I'm going to be wrapping it up here. And whoever just jumped on, we were talking about Mount Shasta and the video I did. And some of the other things that just happened up there, like the guy attacking people with a knife, but he didn't hurt anybody. They got him. Siskiyou Lake Campground. And, those campgrounds around Mount Shasta in that area that I'm describing are near the city. And that one that we just discussed with that guy, Jeff Half, he attacked those people near the city campground. And those city campgrounds are rough. And hey, Bartio, they're pretty rough. People live a lot of, people living around there that don't have places to go, unfortunately. And a lot of crime happens. Hey, if you just got here, haven't been here, we were talking about putting the camera and the tripod I use my GoPro. Get the app, put it on your phone, hide it in a tree outside your tent, camera. I have to have these funky pictures on tonight because we are, it's getting dark. And so we'll probably be leaving soon, but that's the best tip I have for seeing outside your tent at night, tent camping, even in your car, man. You got your car all closed up or your van. Put this on the tripod. If you're a van dweller, put the little camera on there. Get the app. There's a million of these little cameras, but get one with the little screw thing, like I said, in the bottom, so you can put it on your tripod. Put it anywhere. I put it on my bicycle, man. And like when I go in the grocery store to get groceries, it's really great. I'll go in the grocery stores. I'll be like, the line's too long, and I'm stuck in line and I'm outside and the bike is like all alone with all my gear on it. I have this tripod underneath all that gear you see behind me. I've got this little camera in there. I got the tripod hidden underneath that bag. Here, let's move myself around here. That's wild. Okay. So yeah, tripod, camera. Sorry, Donald. You've been here a while. You're hearing all this again, but I'm going to tell it one more time. Is my favorite things. Now you get the app for the camera. Make sure you get those little tiny cameras that you stick places. Forget it. They suck, and you got to stick them on something, and they never stay. So do that, and then you got the speaker, Bluetooth on your phone. Pick a YouTube playlist with some growling Now, you got a YouTube playlist on your phone, right? You got the speaker in your tent, right? And you hear something outside, you turn it on. I don't know, Bardio. You can't even, it's a Chinese thing. They make a million of them, and I can't even see the brand. Just go to Amazon, and there's a million of them, and get one that looks like this, and it has a, you'll see. If I think about it later, I'll look, see if I can find it in my purchases on Amazon, but it like doesn't even have a name on it, and they're all pretty good. This one's really good. Speaker, Bluetooth, low growling noises. Get a YouTube playlist on your phone. You hear something outside like raccoons or deer. Put that on real low. Don't go loud. And also be prepared. Don't have everything at the right volume and stuff. Otherwise, you'll turn it on, be too loud, and you blew it. And blew the whole deal. Have it all ready and practice. Practice with the speaker. Practice with the camera and get it all dialed in, And like I was saying earlier, people say, oh, are you paranoid? You got all this stuff. You got the speaker and the phone. And I say, well, I don't use it everywhere I go. It's all regional. If I feel uncomfortable camping somewhere and it's just like, somebody's outside a lot, like maybe there's some camping people next to me that are camping that I just don't feel comfortable. I know it's kind of, I'll stick this camera up in a tree. Make sure you got the This is the tripod, These are bomber. These are made. Get the heavy one. Here's the brand. I do know this, Bardio. This one here. Get that. Get the camera. Sorry, this screen's kind of messing with us. Get the little camera. Get the app. Put it on. Put it outside your tent. Put it outside your car, your RV. Got an RV? If you have an RV, if you have anything, you know what I bought this for originally? This is funny. I bought this for, there was some rats getting into the tomato plants at my folks. So I was like, well, is it birds? Is it rats? Who knows? Nobody could figure out what it was, So I said, I'm going to find out. I'm going to get one of those freaking cameras. So I got this little camera, put it up, got a whole, all night. It gives you notifications. Leave your phone on. And I was getting these notifications, this rat, big old rat looking right at me. Like this. Look at him with his big old nose and whiskers and stuff. It was wild. I thought I was hallucinating. Yes, sir, Bardio Mio. Hey, Bardio Mio, you stay up late, don't you? Back there. You're a night owl. Yeah, the rat. Hey, but it was cool. We found out, okay, it's not a bird because we couldn't really tell. Well, I kind of knew because it wasn't bird pecks. It was like chew marks, Now, I mean, anyway. Oh, shoot. Anyway, so we got that. We got the speaker. Isn't that cool? I wanted to show you guys some stuff. Let's see here. See what's going on. See what we can do for our lighting. Because I'm still awake. I'm not ready to go yet. I don't know if this hurts my algorithm or anything. Because I'm just hanging out, Now, I wouldn't do this if there was nobody there. I would have to go. That'd be just ridiculous. But I can tell stories nonstop. Now, here's another thing. Somebody said, I always say somebody said because they do, and I want to tell you what they say. Somebody said, hey, you tell other people's stories, but I tell mine too. And I've got so many more that, I try to fill in between with places I like to go, It's more fun for me. Like, how it's for you guys, it's fun to hear. For you guys, it's fun to hear stories. Some of mine are okay, some aren't. But for me, it's not fun to hear my stories. I think they're funny sometimes, but so I like to investigate other stories and tell you guys about them and get your feedback. So I have a lot of stories yet to tell you that are a little bit on the edge of wacky and weird, and my stories though, and some of them are not mysteries. Some of them are just weird stuff that happened to me, and anyway, we're gonna go into, and I'm getting ready to go to weirder places. Back to the places. And the one thing I look forward to doing is taking you guys through South America and places like Medellin and Bogota and outside of, and also down in Ecuador and Peru and Bolivia. Getting right down the dirty, down and dirty devil tectonic tours, man. That's where we're going. I mean, it's like we're there right now. Look behind me. There's my bike, in the desert. And here's me sitting here having a cup of coffee. I know it's not the real thing, but hey, what's cool about it is I've been there. These are my pictures. You guys, what's cool is, it's me. And, or at least, like this is, now that's the rock, that's the road hopper behind me from a few years ago. Or 2 years ago, actually, on the Eastern Sierra. So, and then you see that shadow behind me? Check out that shadow behind me. You know what that is? I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you at the end of the video. Oh, this isn't a video. that shadow behind me is I'm right where I'm at. I'm at the Mount Whitney Cemetery. Mount Whitney Cemetery outside of Lone Pine. And that's a big rock thing they built with a cemetery. It's at the gate or whatever, and it's casting across 395, Highway 395, and the front of the Brooks saddle seat is pointing north, 395 north, and the shadows on the south side heading back toward Southern California. For the live stream. Oh, you like that one? Yeah, that's cool. I wish I could get that. Oh, you know what? Check it. Hey, check it out. Let's check this out. Oh man, you know what? You just gave me a great idea. I love you guys. You guys are watching Tectonic in action, learning and like developing into, I know this sounds kind of stupid, but you're watching it all in action. And here's, let's see here. Well, here we go, Bardio. Is it this one? Not that one. No, that's not the one. That's a video from today. Oh yeah. This one? Say yes again. If you can. Yeah. So this is no, it's on the on the road. Oh, that one. Yeah, I like that one too. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this is that kind of scary, dangerous camp. All right. So you guys, some of you may not watch these videos because there's, I got the red skeleton there. It's not gory. Now, I bet it was when they were there. There was no evidence of any sort of blood or guts. It was just the lady was found, but it's weird. Her boyfriend, was innocent, and the car was never found. And to this day, there's just no evidence or anything, and the case is kind of closed. So that's why I did this video, and the other one too. I did 2 other ones. It's kind of they're cases that just still have unanswered, like David Benfer. But if there was like case closed and they found the body and the guy was put in prison or something, I wouldn't talk about it. Oh, against the guardrail, that one. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't have that one here available though. Sorry, man. This one will probably just scare people away, huh? But this is the one that I did the premiere or the post for, just because I thought maybe people from I had a lot of people ask about this, So let's leave it on for a minute, unless it scares you. If this scares you, let me know. I'll take it down, or you don't like it if it offends you, because I definitely don't want to offend anyone with like, red skeleton there, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, isn't that baffling? Oh, so Bardio, the David Benford disappearance. Check this out. Now, hey, check it out. I'm going to show you something. This picture here was the summer, 2 summers ago. I went up 395 and I stayed at Baker Creek Campground. I stayed in Lone Pine. I stayed at Portuguese Campground in Lone Pine. All the places David mentioned in his video. Now, this is before I was really too intrigued with his disappearance, because at this point, I thought he might turn up, right? This is a couple of years ago when I got back from my first trip to Colombia. So I thought, well, David, he's he's going to turn up somewhere. And so I didn't do, any, but check it out. I've got all this footage. I'm going to show you right now. Check this out. I wonder if it'll let me do this, you guys. See if I can do that. I don't think I can do moving photos behind me. Bear with me here. I understand if you leave, but this won't take long. David Benfer. I got some more information on him too, by the way. Hold on. Let me get through this. What's this? Well, I hate showing those. I don't want to show any bad. I have a lot of thumbnails that are for upcoming stuff, but I don't want to. Well, David Benfer. Anyway, here you go. Yeah, Benfer. Let's see. Oh, so Disturbed Campers here, and this is a good one. I visited all those campsites on 395, and I have some videos of each place and even where he paid through the machine on. So I'm putting together a video where places where he took me along, and it's going to be really cool. Oh, you were? Okay. So if you were, you're going to really love this next video. I thought I could maybe play a clip of the video. If you look at, I think it's not 57 episode. It's the one he's on the Eastern Sierra, Lone Pine, Big Pine, Baker Creek Campground. Check it out. Baker Creek Campground, David Benfer. And then check out my video that I'm going to publish, and you'll see me paying in the same. He paid for his campground in a vending machine. You put your money in out in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, man, I want to see that thing. And I went out there and I did it. I did what he did. And I was like, I didn't do it just because he did it. I did it because I had to get a campground. It was the first time I'd ever paid for a campground in a vending machine. So David Benfer led me to these campsites. I got video of me in there, paying for it and stuff. You're going to love it. See, that's why I think I should tell. That's why I'm going to keep going with David Benfer, not because it gets me views and subscribers, because it's a neat mystery and I'm tied to it and I've been to those places, and you guys know I have, and you'll even know more after that video. And that bike, that one behind me there with the bike, this one here is on that trip, on that very, very trip. Yeah, check it out, Bardio. So Donald, you were a big fan of David Benfer. That's not how I started touring. That's how I don't know. Well, that's how I started following my route. I was doing the Eastern Sierra. I'm a Cascade Sierra guy. I have been for 5 years now. But he had such great documentation of each campground and town, the whole highway. Nobody has one like that. Look it up. There is not anyone out there I can find anyway that has such a detailed, not of only the Eastern Sierra and 395, but all those other routes that he did. And he covered them very well. He's my hero, man. And also, we cross between bike touring, bikepacking, I do. I kind of go right in between and sometimes way overboard, heavy duty, loaded up touring, man. That's me. But I'll go light and shoot up, canyons and mountains and valleys and passes, That's kind of how I operate. Benfer was always like self-contained, fully loaded, documenting his trips, stopping and really doing it well. History, the whole thing, man. I love that guy. David Benfer. I'm going to do that more, Bardio. As a matter of fact, in that video, there's all these clips of me at Baker Creek and all this kind of places he went. And I want to show them. And I was going to show them in like little clips on this channel. But the algorithm and the people and everything is telling me, don't do that. Make a good video. Because if I just do little clips of me, number one, it gets confusing. And and also it doesn't honor, like I want to kind of honor David's deal, man, and how and even though I wasn't doing that at the time, you'll see me traveling to those places and, hey, I'll say, hey, I learned how to do this from David Benfer. And it's so badass. This is a real deal. And I get like butterflies in my stomach sometimes talking to you guys because it's real, It isn't something I have to try to do or I put effort into doing a good job. That's about it, I'm going to do that, Barrio. It's coming. And it'll be geared toward that. It'll be, we'll put it kind of in that style of, honoring David Benford because we can't find him. And he mapped out a lot of our routes. I've had so many people on here, not only bicyclists, but people that were, get this, campers, a lot of car campers, a lot of people that were just going to drive 395. Because here's why. The algorithm will pick up people looking up Highway 395 and, it'll go, oh, you're not a bicyclist, but here, and it'll show David Benford's videos of like Baker Creek. If you're looking for camping on 395, David Benford's stuff will come up sometimes. Really, really interesting on how, like my bicycle channel, for instance, I'm a cyclist, out, doing things in more like touring style. And I'm a camper. I like stories and camping, and I like fishing and stuff. But really, I lean a little bit of a different, but I story tell, and I like the stories. So I cross a lot of different dimensions there, but it all goes the same kind of, it all pyramids, And so anyway, when I start talking about, the great thing about this channel for me is I can be talking about bicycling, hiking, camping, all of it, traveling worldwide, and that view behind me can relate to all of it. It relates to Mount Shasta, even though it's Alaska. It's me in an airplane with Jeff. You know where we're going, man? Oh, he's over here. Jeff, guy, he's over here. No, he's over here. See his hand on the throttle there. Anyway, yeah. So we're getting ready to land on one of those glaciers out there, and then we'll end up out there like this, take the door off the plane and unload the plane, that's me and her, the pilot, and who's no longer with us. It's a dangerous job up there in Alaska. Look up the number of that plane. All you got to do is look that number up, and it'll tell you exactly what happened. All you need to do is punch that number in your computer, and it'll tell you her name. I don't have to tell you her name. And it will tell you, not my name, because I wasn't in the plane. I didn't die, but the other climbers who did and the tourist who died. That plane slammed into that wall right behind me. And see how we're trying to take off there in a bad storm? That's bad news. Here's the deal with that day. I didn't think she was going to fly in there and pick us up. Tents were set up. I have 4 clients in here with me. They're taking the photo here. So I've got my 4 clients back there. Let's do this. Let's shift over a little. I got my 4 clients taking them. There we go. And there's me. I got I remember that second. I have my fanny pack in my hand, stuffing the rest of my stuff in it, getting ready to throw it in the plane. Those guys are taking a picture of me and her right there. And she's looking down the glacier and she's going, man, I don't know, Darin. That's what she's saying to me. In that very moment, she's saying, I don't know. And I'm going, well, what do you think? I'm looking down and I'm trying not to let my clients hear me say, you think we're okay? That's how sketchy that was in that moment. I was scared, you know whatless. And whoo! And the flight, I'm going to tell you about the flight in a second. I'm still reeling from this because when oh man, her name was Mahoney, Kelly Mahoney. She was a good pilot. So I wanted to honor her for a second. Right on, man. Flying, tough job they have. That's, honestly, my job as a guide, I got tired of flying in like that in those storms and out. And hey, I got a story for you. Wait, what? Let's see. If Kelly didn't fly out that day, she no, no. Well, yeah, I'm with her that day. We flew out and made it back to Talkeetna. No problem. Yeah, you're talking about the day she flew out. I got you. Yeah, she flew out with 4 people. The weather wasn't bad though. That's the thing about Denali. Weather changes on a dime. And you get out there, it's a beautiful day, and it'll crap on you in seconds. Now, I've been out here on this glacier. That's me. Been out there with my clients, hunkered down after climbing. We're all ready to go back to Talkeetna and drink beers and have pizza, And what happens is we get stuck and can't fly out. And so I'm always prepared for that. We were prepared for that. We had food, and we were starting to kind of get low, but not so low that we couldn't go anywhere. So check out the number on that plane. All you got to do is punch it in your computer. It'll tell you what happened. And so no, she had reported something happening with the plane right before, I believe. Right before. Usually it's weather related though, Bardio. Like that behind me. This thing going on behind me, you guys, it's like so epic. Like I don't care if I got one view out of this. That is such an epic moment of my life right there of talking to her, asking if we should fly out. And she's looking down. Now she's looking down glacier. And yeah, 2003. Yep, that's it. That was it. And that picture is the same summer. So now that plane, yeah. Isn't that wild? That's me. I could have been in that. I flew in that plane all summer long. All summer. Thanks, Donald. Yeah, it's in my video, Bardio. I have it all in the description in the video, too. The whole accident and what you're reading on Google and all that. That's awesome. Thank you. So, yeah, there I am with that airplane. So she's determining whether she should do it. Now, here's the thing. If she couldn't fly out, all these glacier pilots, let me tell you, they are badass. And she's got stuff in the back of that plane. She's got a tent, sleeping bag, rescue supplies, and all that stuff. So we would have been fine. And so she's thinking right there, should we just spend the night? She's not thinking but I'm looking down, asking her if we're okay. Should we do it? And so we get in, right? We get in, we load it up. Now we're heavy, you guys. We're heavy. A lot of crap in there. My clients had too much stuff. We always have too much stuff. And we start heading down that glacier, and it's deep snow still. It's May. This happened. This is in May. It gets a little easier when it's packed later in June and July. And we barely lifted up before the crevasses. That's a story in the video. She was jumping the plane with the throttle and just, trying to jump it and jumping over hills with those skis. As she picked up speed, she hit one hill and jumped into the sky, man. We made it over the glacier, over those crevasses. I was like, you got to be kidding. I'm looking down as we're over there going, Alaska. What a trip. Oh, man. I've got so many wacky flying stories. Hey, one time in that helicopter, you see? Here, let's go over to the helicopter for a minute. One time in this helicopter, it was me, the pilot, and one of my guides. Now, out here, there's no reception. You have to have a satellite phone, or there's got to be a repeater up on this mountain behind me, so you can use your radio to hit that repeater to go over to the airport. So one year we were like, okay, we're going to put a repeater up, save money on cell phone, satellite phone, because couldn't use cell. So we were taking up to the top of that mountain there, which looks like this, kind of. We land on that thing, not that one, but one just like it. And we shut down the helicopter, and it's deep snow, right? And this helicopter just busts down into the snowpack. And we're lopsided in the snowpack on the top of a freaking mountain. I don't have any pictures of that. And so we, this one, Bart. Probably talking about that other one. Yeah. Anyway, we had to dig the tail of that helicopter out. You see there, we had to jack the helicopter around. We had to dig it all out. We had to get it all kind of level. They're heavy, but you can move them around a little bit with the tail. So we did that. We jacked it around, got it right, and got back inside and took off, man. Scared the crap out of us. Me and my guide got in and said, man, I hope this works. I got a lot of seat of your pants fun. I'm very blessed, and I thank God every day that I'm still alive, because I've had a lot of incidents. I haven't. There's a video about the helicopter incident that we had where the tail rotor fell. This helicopter here went back and hit that ice back there. You see? Have you guys seen that video? Yeah. So the helicopter landed. The one you see behind me, 162. It landed on the ice, but not evenly enough, and it tilted back. And that tail rotor back there, that went back and it hit the ice. Now, the rotor blade didn't hit the ice. That guard protected it. There's a guard sticking down, and that protected us from that blade striking. So we got lucky there. And the pilot asked me and Chris, "Can you guys? I'm gonna stay in the helicopter. Can you lift the back and kind of move it up and over?" And then, check it out. I need to know all the names of these videos, don't I? There's so many. We'll get them in sequence. There'll be a helicopter, though, on the front of the video, I'm sure. Anyway, we got it back in order. He asked us to stand on the skids of the helicopter. That's in that video. There's a picture. And we're over on one side, and he spooled up the blades and then lifted up off the glacier and moved about 6 feet, where you see it right now, kind of in that vicinity, not right there. This is a totally different day, different week even. And the thing about landing on this glacier is that ice changes every day because it's melting in the summer. Only in the summer, not global warming. It melts normally every summer for millions of years. And so it makes kind of a wavy, waviness. So that helicopter's got to land evenly. And so we would be, always concerned, like every day, okay, what's it like because I had a spot there at my camp. This is my camp where I flew to every day. And so at my camp, I had chairs set up and things, and we would fly back in there and the chairs would be tipped over from the ice melting or, maybe the wind. So it's pretty interesting how things operated up on the glacier. Up on the upper part of the glacier where there's snow way back there behind me and stuff. Now, landing up there is a whole different deal, like we were talking about in the helicopter, because you can bust through the snow. So they have to be really, aware, mindful of the terrain and be good pilots, really good pilots. Excuse me while I sip some coffee. Hey, everybody who just showed up, we got a whole bunch of people here now. Hey, we were talking about safety, tent safety stuff, camping, car camping safety, whatever you do out there. And you guys that have been here, I'll go through it kind of quick, but I want to show you. Hey, if you haven't heard this or watched a video, the best one, and you guys have said, a couple of you said, tent safety is the camera idea. Now, that camera and speaker idea, what I do is I mount a camera on this little tripod you see right here. I use that for my GoPro. And I got a Wi-Fi cam, and I put that on there, and then I stick it up in a tree. I'll show you that here. Hey, Bardio, now we're losing the light here, so everybody can see. But we have a nice picture for you there of the glacier. And well, I locate the camera. There you go. Okay, so there's the camera right there. Get one. Now, if you're going to do this, here's the whole point. You hear something in your tent, right? You don't want to turn your light on. Don't turn your light on. Do not turn your light on in the tent. And you got your camera. You got your little tripod. Get the one that's got the thing in the bottom to screw on here, not the little ones, you sticky things you put on, and then stick that up in a tree. Get the app. Turn on the app. You can see what's outside. Now, it's got night vision, and it's also got a light that comes on. So you want to have when you're in the app, you just kill the light. It says, do you want the light on? Also sound. You got different cameras out there. Now, this one, just another cheap Amazon. There's 100 of them. Make sure you can get one that has wide angle on it, and almost all of them are now. So, and the little tripod. So you got this all the time anyway, right? That's not extra weight if you're traveling on a bike, especially. And it's for your GoPro and then your cam. You get the app, and just before you do it, you got it all figured out, right? And so you go to bed, you have it next to your phone next to you. You just pop it on. Now it'll give you notifications too. So you got this up in a tree or over in somewhere. Sometimes I'll keep it on my bicycle. You can't see it, if it's tucked in somewhere underneath a picnic table, pointed at your stuff, but preferably up in a tree with a shot toward you. Make sure, and that's it, and turn on. Now, the other thing here was the Bluetooth speaker. Hit the like button here if this is your first time, so I know I'm not talking to you the same people telling the same thing over, but making it brief. Speaker, Bluetooth in your tent, YouTube playlist with some low growling noises, and then turn that on. Make sure it's low. You got it all figured out before you go to bed. Next to you in your tent, and those are just deterrents for animals mainly. Hey, it works for raccoons and deer. Probably worked for a bear. Haven't tried it on a bear. I wish I had it when that bear was outside my tent. Watch that video. Go back and look for the bear encounter video. Bear encounter in Alaska, McCarthy, Alaska. Yeah, see, that's the thing about the camera. It gives you peace of mind, Bardio. Now, it's not everywhere I go. It's regional. So I don't feel uncomfortable everywhere I go. But, hey, I guess I'm staying in this sketchy campground where there's people living here. I don't like those places. I don't like campgrounds where people live there. I'm sorry you got to live there. We all got to live somewhere, right? But it's tough. But I prefer not to, and I prefer not to stay in hotels where people live, motels or, let the kids' toys out in front and stuff, like that. And that's always a bad sign. And so anyway, avoid that. But that's going off the subject here. Safety things. Now I keep these next to me, right? These are always next to me. I'm going to go into a couple other things here real quick. Keep those. But the other things, Bardio, you've seen this a whole bunch of times. And Donald, I know, and Apache, if you're here, I sure miss Apache. But here we go. We got this thing here is priceless. It's been with me for 3 years. I've used it a couple times. It's still got a lot of juice in it. It's a loud horn. Great for dogs if dogs are going to chase you on your bike. I don't like to spray dogs with pepper spray. People, people if I have to, I guess. But I don't like to spray things with pepper spray, Squirrels and raccoons, I don't want to hurt them, If they're out there, they're just hungry. So I don't want to hurt an animal. The pepper spray is last resort. This horn scares the crap out of them. They leave and nobody got hurt, right? Nobody got hurt. That's the bottom line. And so things next to my sleeping bag. Pepper spray, horn I'm not probably going to use it in the tent, but you never know. If something's getting real close, I'm going to open the tent, I'll blast the crud out of it right there where they're coming in. Boy, So that one ought to do it. Hey, here's one I haven't shown anybody yet. And okay, you got the pepper spray, and then all your personal protection. This one here that is my personal protection that I can't take out. And know your laws, all regionally, know where you're going. Out of the country, definitely I don't take those. And that's my stuff right next to me, headlamp in hand. Don't turn on your light. Do not turn on your light in your tent if you hear something outside. I know you know that. That horn is so loud, Bardio, or Donald, I'm sorry, kind of blind. Uh, it scares me when I do. I'm afraid sometimes when I want to mess around with it. I did that when I first got it. I just want to hear it. Whoa, man, I'm going to get in trouble here with that thing. I've also got, I don't have them out right now. I have safety flares. Safety flares, like for me, really important. Out there on that glacier you see behind me. Now, you guys, that's where I worked. Out there in those mountains is where I started. And I wasn't riding a bike back then. I was guiding mountaineering. Teaching people how to travel on glaciers is what I used to do. I had to teach myself first. And I never went to school. I took an outward bound course down in Colorado, but they didn't have any glaciers. So when I got up to Alaska, I went out with very experienced people, and I took some courses and stuff. But I went out, I learned hard knocks. And I climbed all these peaks you see behind me. That's where I worked. The only peaks that I haven't climbed out here are the little ones in front because I wasn't out there climbing the little ones. Anyway, Moose's Tooth way in the back there. In this picture, we're flying out to that mountain right there. That's called the Moose's Tooth in Alaska. Look it up. Look it up, you guys. Moose's Tooth. Big, massive. Look it up. The east face of the Moose's Tooth. And I've been out there. As a matter of fact, let's go out there right now. There we are at the bottom of it. We landed out there. That's my skis and my buddy. That's all our stuff. We're going to be in there for a month. We're in there for a month. That's it in these photos. Yeah, Moose's Tooth, amigo. And we fly out there, climb one of these mountains you see us on back here. That's a good view, isn't it? I like that. Let's stick here for a little. I really like it up here. You know, when I'm feeling a little stressed out, you know, and feeling a little busy or whatever, I just break away and I come up here and sit all by myself. Now, yeah, this is called White Princess in Alaska. White Princess in the Alaska range. It's like 10,000 something feet. It's not high. Believe it or not, that's not high altitude in Alaska. It's because we're at a different latitude on the planet. You guys, I don't mean to talk to you like you don't know, but some people might be from Korea on here listening to me. That one other person, because I have some people that we're going to get on from Korea. But yeah, there we go right there, huh? White Princess, yep. It's Central Alaska range. Real beautiful. I'm looking here real quick to see something. I want to find something for you guys. You stick around just for a moment here. I'm looking for another photo if I can. Let's see here. Bear with me. I only got two of you here, so hopefully I'm not losing anybody here. Yeah, it looks like I can. I was going to try to show you. Trying to find another photo here. Okay. Never mind. Not working. I was trying to find some more photos of this. But we'll do it next time. Hey, the great thing here now is next time I know I can do this with you guys. Because, here's the thing that'll help the weird blotchiness with I have a green screen that I hang up, and that'll help with that. And you won't see that weird, that kind of thing. I've done it before when I made videos. And so I'll do that, and I'll be able to switch through a whole bunch of neat not videos, but photos. I think that's the way we'll do some of our stuff, you know. Now, some stuff, you know, it's not worth doing like that. But I think some of the storytelling things, you know, the things that matter. Let's see here. I want to check something out here. We're going to go with a choose and cancel. Yeah, I'm really playing around with this here. It's kind of weird. All right, hold on here. We got. So I'm going to do something like this on the next. Oh, look at what we got here. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. Can't add that. Can't add that. But I can add. All right. So what we'll end up doing on some of our videos here, some of my stories I tell. So I'll be going into something like that. I'll sit out by the campfire. We'll tell some stories like Mount Shasta. Yeah, you know, and I like this one. I've never used it for a live stream, but I like this one. It's kind of like we're out by the campfire. You know, I'm out in the desert right now, so even though that's cool, I'm not going to have a fire out in the desert right now. It's too hot, right? So we'll just sit and have some coffee by this fire. Talk about, you know, Jeff Half or all these weird people that are attacking people in places. And no, we don't want to. I'm just campground stuff, you know, campground stories and things like that. Yeah, campground backdrop for story time. We'll be doing that, you know, and then a lot of times, you know, if I'm going to be telling you something about some of my hitchhiking stuff, you know, and stuff out on the road, we'll be going into. Hear that? We got hey, never a dull moment in paradise. And you hear I got sirens going. Sorry, a little distracting there, but so yeah, we'll pick and choose some photos like that, and some nights we'll sit by the fire and talk about Mount Shasta. But I was there's some people here that may have not been here yet. Hey, yeah, sirens. It's a lot of crime around here, believe it or not. I mean, can't you tell? Look at all those mountains. Look at that nice fire. That's not where I'm at, but anyhow, hit that like button if you just got here, so I know you haven't heard some of the stuff I was talking about camp safety, because that's what y'all came here for, I think, or you just saw me sitting here yakking away, sitting up here in the mountains somewhere, and you know, that's okay too. But that's good. Nobody hit so I won't go back into camp safety stuff unless somebody hits that like button. Oh, maybe you already did and you want to hear more. Then you just have to make a comment, I guess. But we were talking about this family of four that the video is coming up about. I can talk about it because there's only a few of you here, and I get I have enough people to watch it, and you guys haven't seen a lot of my videos, so I guess I'll tell you. German family, they're from Germany, rented a little van in San Francisco, drove out to Death Valley, Furnace Creek, and now, you know, they're from Germany. No, but you know, back, let's see, 96, they didn't have they had a cell phone, no GPS. So they checked into the hotel. They're going to stay in a nice hotel. Furnace Creek is pretty decent. And then they decided to go for a drive out some dirt road, which I've been on a motorcycle on years ago with my uncle. It's called Anvil Canyon. And then, so went out to Anvil Canyon. There's roads that go off all over the place out there. They're hanging out Anvil Canyon, and apparently, like, gone. They walked off from they broke down. So they don't know if they broke down, because when they found the van, it was completely like dried up. It'd been hot, you know, it'd been a long time. I think it was about 10 years. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's back up. They found the van not too long after, but it was all dried up and then no water in the radiator or nothing. So that's a story there. But everything in the van all the clothes were folded up, and the passports were in there and all that kind of stuff. And so, and they just saw the tracks were walking off, but they left everything organized in there. And that was weird. 10 years later, a guy found their bodies. Guy hiking around out there. Not all the parents' bodies. finds the parents' bodies, finds the shoes of the kids. The shoes of the kids, but no bodies. Never found. But the weird thing there is that guy who found them, he got kind of famous over finding that. Skeletons and shit. He was like, he got his last name was Mayhoon. You can look it up. Guy who found the dead parents of the the 4 people who died, the Germans. You can just, it's in the description of my video. I can't remember it all right now. That's what happened. Then that guy, they never find the kids, but that guy who found the Mahoon, no one can find him. So he's like popular for finding everything, or finding the body, and then, oh, hey, where's he at? People are just wacky and weird when they get weird and wacky, and they do weird things. Yeah, I think when you do weird things and you get so far into it, then you just kind of take off. I don't know. Haven't got that weird and wacky. I think that's what happens. Yeah, but Bardio, look it up. All you got to do, I found this out. I like to tell my own stories, right? But I hear something like somebody will say, hey, you ever hear about these people? And I just Google it, right? And I get all the information like we all do. But what I find out, especially up by Shasta and Lassen, Highway 89, my favorite old station, my favorite campground. Now you can't find anything that's resolved. Every case is esoteric. I mean, that's weird. I don't know. I guess there's a reason for that, right? It's a mystery. A lot of crime, though. I don't like to tell the murder ones. There are a lot of violent murder crimes out there in those areas outside of Bernie Falls and Redding, up in the Sierra. People get killed all the time up in there. It's all meth. It's all this meth-driven stuff. So, we could go into I don't want to go into being a channel that just does scary meth head stories. You can find plenty of those. But I do touch a little bit on it. I have a couple only because they were my experiences. If they were my experiences, like the meth head who was smoking in the Greyhound bus I was in last time I was at Greyhound, and I haven't told that story yet. Hey, wait till I tell my story about the Greyhound, my last Greyhound ride. That was a death ride, and people were going to sue Greyhound on this trip. Everybody on the Greyhound was flipping out, but everybody on the Greyhound was crazy anyway. They didn't have any lawyers. They weren't going to sue anyone. That's the crazy thing is Greyhound can treat people bad because the people they're treating bad are crazy people usually, or poor. So you can treat poor people bad because they don't have any money to fight you. That's what's going on with Greyhound. They turned it into a thing called Flixbus. They partnered with Flixbus. Check this out. You're on Greyhound in California. Don't do it, man. You 3 lucky people right here who are probably already smart enough to never take a Greyhound. If you ever had to, there was a situation where that was your only choice. That was it. It was death or Greyhound. Death. Because Greyhound's going to do death anyway, probably. No, I'm not saying that, but choose something else if you can. Walk. Call somebody you hate to call. I hate to do that because Greyhound is horrible. Now, they partnered with Flixbus, and I experienced the worst thing in the world. Yeah, the meth thing is horrible, Bardio. Hey, check it out real quick. Because I'm assuming you haven't heard some of these videos. I have them all. I'm in Ashland, Oregon. I got to stay at a hostel. I don't like hostels in America. They're usually places where people live. But it said, hey, fun. It had all these great pictures, and this is a fun hostel and rainbows and some reviews that were fake, like friends of theirs making reviews. Oh, this is a great place, And anyway, so only place I could stay. Everything's booked, $500 a night, nice places. I couldn't do that. So I go, all right, I'm at the hostel. I go, so before I go to the hostel, I'm in Medford. That's right next to Ashland. And I'm at the downtown area because I got to go to the bike shop and stuff. So I'm at the park. I'm over at the park because it had restrooms. I need to use a restroom, and I couldn't get in because it's meth heads and fentanyl. Place is packed with drug addicts, so I leave. But on the corner, I see a guy. I see lots of people hunched over, but I see a guy, and I don't recognize him. I just see him, like somebody I can't forget, right? And he's hunched over, like with a pipe in his hand, a meth pipe. And I'm like, this is a horrible area. Anyway, I leave. I go to Ashland. It's like 15 miles away. I ride my bike down the bike trail, get to my hostel, check in. The guy checks me in. He's a little weird. He seemed nice on the phone. I got there, and he was like a total different guy. And I'm a soft-spoken person usually when I meet someone. And he said, I started talking to him, and he goes, "Hey, can you talk softer, please?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, we're doing." And I wasn't even talking. And he was real weird about everything you did. And so he'd been dealing with weird people, obviously. And then it turned him kind of weird too. So I was like, "Okay," and I get there, and he goes, "This is your room here." And I'm like, "Oh no, this sucks." And it just smelled bad. The place sucked. And I'm like, but I've been all over the world in some horrible places, you know. So I was like, I guess I can do this, even though it seemed more horrible than worst place in India I'd ever been at the time. But here I am, and I'm in that room at that hostel, and you did 10 years ago. It was probably better. Greyhound. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't like to fly either, but I make myself do it sometimes. But yeah, I travel on the train too. I like Amtrak. Um, sometimes. No more Greyhound. Anyway, so I'm in the hostel. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I'm gonna get a roommate. Right? They give you a roommate. So there's nobody in my room yet. I'm like, maybe I won't get one. But the guy earlier said you're gonna get a roommate, so don't get too comfortable not having a roommate. That's how bad the guy was. I go, I don't care. You know, I get along with anybody. I'm cool. So later, I hear the door open, and this guy comes in with his little pack, and it's that meth guy from downtown. It's that same guy that was hunched over downtown. He's coming in to sleep in my room at the hostel. Freaking hit that like button, baby. That's a funny story, isn't it? I know you all hit the like button already. That's a funny story, and I hated it at the time. That sucked. I love Amtrak. Love it. Now, I like Amtrak okay, regionally. You know, I liked it going across. I just, I compared to like the bus, yeah, any day. And I like it because you can kick back. If you're going for a while, I like to go a while. You know, I want to go a long ways so I can get some sleep. And the chairs aren't bad. I've even got a roomette. You know, one time I was guiding a trip up north in Portland. I didn't want to fly. Took the train, and it was a trip that paid me very well. It was with a guy who's well known, and I haven't made that video yet. You know who he is. And so I was taking this guy on a kind of a multi-environment trip, biking, hiking, and then we were going to Alaska and flying into the Ruth Glacier. So I had this big trip planned out, you know. So I take the train, and it was a good paying thing. So I got a roomette all the way from San Francisco to Portland. So that's like an all night in a room on the Coast Starlight, which only follows the coast for a little bit down south. And then up through the Cascades and shit. Oh, man, it was great. And that room was bitching. And I drank back then. So it was nice. I had a bottle of wine. Go down and have something in the bar, or what, not the little bar, but the lounge and stuff, and wake up, have breakfast, you know. So it was really cool sitting with people you don't know at breakfast. You sit at the little table, or now that's kind of spending. Most of the time on the train, I just go down to the snack bar and get a cheap, whatever, croissant or muffin. And all the food in the snack place is kind of bad, but you know what you're gonna get anyway. If you travel on a train, you take stuff with you. Yeah, they say don't bring, you can't You can bring food, but they say don't bring alcohol and all that. People bring all their own stuff. They're just got to be smart about it. I got in trouble though for saying that on Facebook by an Amtrak employee. They said you can't say that and tell people to bring their own alcohol. And I said I wasn't saying that. I was just saying you can bring. I said maybe I did say that, and I said sorry. And then I defriended that or not defriend. Then I deleted that comment or something. Anyway, thanks for coming, you guys, man. If you have any questions while I'm sitting here, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. It's getting a little bit late on a Saturday night for me. I'm an early to bed guy, but I get up really early. That's hey, number 6. How are you? Whoever just showed up. We were talking tent safety and a little bit of Mount Shasta stuff. And if you have any questions, let me know. And that person left. So looks like 5 of you are listening. Hey, if there's anybody listening and you like what you're hearing and you want me to go a little more and you haven't liked yet, please hit that like button and I'll stick around. Or make a comment. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're listening, if you like this stuff, you like my stories and the videos, please, they're different than this live. Like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot and helps me boost up in there to the super psychedelic cyberspace. Hey, anyway, number 7's here. We're getting a lot of people here finally, so I might go back into that, a little bit of the safety stuff, but it's getting dark out here in the mountains, and I'm not really in the mountains, as you can see. I'm in the desert, really. This is a fake back screen, but what we're going to do is fly up here into the mountains and talk about Mount Shasta. The video I was doing earlier about Mount Shasta, this isn't Mount Shasta. This is in Alaska. But I was talking about the video I did yesterday on, the people at campground, a lady that got murdered and they didn't find her for a long time. We were talking stories and stuff like that. And also made a video on tips about never buying a lighter again, which is, I still buy lighters, but man, I don't buy hardly any lighters anymore since I have that Halo lighter. Check out that video 2 videos ago on never buy a lighter again, and also bug dope. Don't ever buy that. That's dangerous, toxic, and bad for the planet and you and everything else. So use those tips. Crushed pine needles, witch hazel and vanilla mix. I've been using it for 100 years because I'm 100 years. I'm 101 actually. All my things are from Alaska. Almost everything I know and tell you is from Alaska or Colorado outward bound when I was a teenager, or just traveling around South America, whatnot. Hey, up in this picture, we're in Alaska. Guy. Gary left. Guy. Yes, I have. Thanks, Guy. Yeah, I'm going back to that campfire. It's warmer. We'll go back to the campfire, man. That's way warmer. Hey, thanks for coming, Guy, man. It's good to see you. Yeah, so I was talking about Amtrak, and that's what I did with it, is that trip I was saying in the room at, and I was just getting up to where I needed to go. Let's get in the desert for a minute. So I just needed to get out there to Portland and use it. But then I did a trip to Grand Junction. So I biked to Tahoe from the Bay Area, all the way over to Reno, then hopped the train, went out in the desert, got off Grand Junction, came back across the desert, Utah, Canyonlands, and all that. So I train hopped on that one. That was great. Ooh, somebody's firing off guns now out here. At nighttime, people fire guns off in the hills here. I don't know what they're doing, probably target practice or something. Oh, man. No. Okay. Got one story for you, and it's quick. I'll just say I hopped a train from Denali to Fairbanks in 1986. Now, you can't do it. I mean, you can do it now. I got Dancer, who makes videos on YouTube. Look up Dancer. He's kind of cool. He's not a camper guy. Well, yeah, he is. He camps. He did the big video on Bohemian Grove. But yeah, he does a lot of freight train hopping himself, Dancer. And he went up to my neck of the woods in Denali and did my same thing. Now, I did it back with this guy named Ian, who's some crazy guy. He just got out of jail. And he said, hey, I got to go to Fairbanks and go to my probation thing. And I said, and this is back when I was young. And I go, yeah, I'll go. And we went up. Now, it's a coal train. It's a coal. Now, it's also a passenger train, but we got the coal bunker trains or the coal cars and set in the front parts, that you're not in the coal part in the back. And it was the hardest thing I think I ever did. One of the hardest things I ever did in my life. It was so loud and racking around and stressful. We didn't want to get caught. And I was covered. When I got to Fairbanks, I was supposed to go to Fairbanks and like check into a hotel. And I was covered in coal. So first thing I had to do was go to the Chena River in Fairbanks, take off my clothes and put my swimming trunks on, jump in the Chena River, right? Put my clothes back on after I dried, get as clean as I can. Coal doesn't come off very easy. You might know that. Water doesn't get it off really. So anyway, I checked into my hotel looking pretty dirty. And the next day I took the bus back, the Denali local transit bus. It was really nice and easy. But yeah, freight training, man. What about hopping? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Man, you guys bring up some stuff and it just jars my memory into some good stories. I really enjoy that. Yeah, I hate to go, man. I got to go pretty quick here. I'd like to sit here and talk all night. Got to run inside to civilization and do all that stuff I normally don't like to do, but I like sitting out here. Hey, let's see what it looks like out here without any of this stuff on here. That's how dark it is out here in the wow, that's hey, we're out here camping out. I could just tell everybody I'm camping, but I'm not. There's studio light a little better. And yeah, we were just talking about safety stuff earlier. Guy, you probably know about it already, but the camera and the tripod. This is a Wi-Fi cam. I put it outside my tent if I'm staying in a sketchy place, or if there's like, I don't know, bears or just animals, but people, generally people. And but I really like that. It makes me feel comfortable outside. Now, I was saying I use it on the bike. If I'm like going to a store, sometimes I'll do that. I'll throw it on the bike underneath all the gear, and stick it out. I'll be stuck in the produce area. Like, oh, I'm kind of striving in the store a while, or I'm in the line. Line's taking forever. If I have to go in a Walmart, leave my bike outside, even if it's locked, I'm stressed because Walmart won't let you bring your bike in. In places like this, a lot of them won't let you bring your bicycle in. So I'll do that. I'll put the camera underneath one of the panniers looking out and check on the bike and see if somebody's trying to mess around with it. And then I'll run out there and go, hey, what are you doing? Never had to do it, though. Now, that it's best for the tent, for sleep. It's best for just sleeping. Peace of mind. What places allow you to bring it in? Yeah, well, some places will on the routes I go on, like if it's say it's a store that's not a big chain store, a lot of times they'll let you bring it in. Say, hey, and they'll see your bags and that you're not, you don't have just plastic beer can bags hanging off, and you're going to move in for the day. If they don't think you're going to move in for the afternoon, they'll let you stay for a minute and do some shopping. And, a lot of places are afraid you're going to lean your bike up against stuff and ruin it. But there are some cool people out there still. Believe it or not, there's still some really good humans out there. Not very many, but there are some. And I like to run into them on my trips because if I do, I like to be a good human right back to them. That's what it's all about. Here's the speaker. I keep the speaker, Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth speaker. I keep that next to me in my tent. I keep my playlist with that Bluetooth speaker on, a low growl of a dog, not a bear, a dog, big, deep, low growl this has a lot of bass in it. And I have that in there. If I hear raccoons or any sort of sneaking around going outside my tent, I turn that on. And I got my camera going, right? You've got the camera mounted up in a tree outside your tent in a bad area. All you got to do is and it notifies you. The app that I have, and all of them, they give you notifications. And I usually like to walk my bike inside, and like you own the place. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah. And you know what? I've done that too. It depends on how I'm feeling, And check it out, guy. It's regional for me. Like I go how I feel. If I'm in a place that's like, if I just don't feel like they're gonna like this, or whatever, I'll try to go around it. But a lot of times I have to just move it right in and go, hey, especially if there's nowhere else to put it. I'm not gonna risk losing all my stuff. I'm gonna be cordial and ask nicely and say, hey, this is my whole life on this bike. I'm traveling, and there's about $6,000 worth of gear on this bicycle. So, and then they usually go, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah. Hey, and then they help you sometimes, But yeah, okay, speaker and all that. I think we're done with safety tips for the night. I'm gonna wrap it up on those, and gotta have your little horn here to scare the living, PISS out of people. Sorry, that probably hit the algorithm too. I don't know. You can cuss a little, but you're not supposed to say too much. So I try not to be too trashy mouth on here. I do enough of that out here in my personal life. Right on, you guys. Yahoo, man. Thanks for coming over and chit-chatting with me. I'm going to wrap it up pretty quick here. All my coffee's gone, and that bums me out, When my coffee. There's two things I hate running out of them, and one of them's coffee. I'll keep the other one to myself. Anyway, yeah. So, but that's how it works here at Tectonic. We're hey, two people that just showed up. It's getting dark out here, and Bardia, we'll see you the next one, brother. Okay, yeah. Appreciate you coming over. Hey, if you just showed up, we were talking about Mount Shasta and a video I just released the other day. And also we were talking about tent safety tips. There is a video in my library there, tent safety. There's a whole bunch of different ones in there. Bear safety and some stories and bicycle stuff, whatever you're looking for. If you're an outdoor person, I probably got it on here except fishing, but I like fishing. I just don't have any fishing stuff on here. Right on. Thanks, Bardio Mio. Hey, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. If you've been enjoying this stuff and just sitting there watching me, and if you like to watch me, subscribe if you haven't already, and then you can see what's coming up, man. A lot coming up. There's always a lot coming up, though. That's the thing with me. You always know there's something coming, and it is not going to be boring. All right, you guys. Thank you. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you real soon. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe. If you missed this, watch the videos. Watch what's coming. Good night, everybody. All right, we're going to fly back out of here. Flying back out to the glacier now. All right, you guys, thanks.